often a trip to hell is referred to as a bad thing. But I think Smackdown took us on a fairly enjoyable ride through hell as we now review SmackDown's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
Woo!
So excited. Okay, so they probably could have picked a better opener for the actual card, but overall, I think the show was really good.
The show went off pretty much without a hitch.
Yeah.
I feel like the real sleeper match was one that I didn't expect to be a sleeper match.
Yep. We'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah.
But
overall, I didn't have much to complain about.
No. Pre-show match, we had Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable taking on the Hype Bros. Probably the Hype Bros' best match. Mojo actually doing some shit.
Yeah, but that's only because of Mojo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's literally saying that this is where Mojo Rawley's career has peaked.
Yeah.
And that's saying something, because he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania.
Well, he had help from a Patriot, so fuck
gross.
that guy. Still,
Lou Gronk.
He was on the sidelines on Thursday, and I was laughing at him.
No, you know.
But anyway, good match all around, though. A couple times where the Hype Bros actually looked like they were going to win.
Yeah, I was scared.
But eventually, a powerbomb / clothesline combo was the undoing for...
It's sort of a backwards Steiner driver.
A little bit, yeah. That was the end for Zack Ryder, and Team America picked up the win.
Yeah, no, and the way Shelton picked up Ryder for the powerbomb was, effortless.
Well,
I think Shelton's been working arms a lot.
Well, he's had to. He tore his rotator cuff.
That's true.
Then we open up...
That was a point for each of us, by the way.
Yes, that was a point for both of us. We open up the show with the tag team title Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, bad idea.
I mean, good idea in the fact that they knew that they needed to, tone everything down because they had Shane and Owens at the end of the night.
Yeah.
But...
You have 3 hours, though.
Yeah, to open up that heavy and then have an entire middle... the entire middle of the show is no stipulations whatsoever, except for a triple threat match that was made just before the show. It does tend to make everything seem a little less important when you take everything that these two teams have been doing against each other for the last 4 months and you contain it inside of a giant cage of death. It does tend to make you care a little less about the rest of the card. That being said, once again, the Usos and the New Day fucking killing it.
Yeah.
There was not a slow moment in this match.
No, well, I mean, if there was, it was because everyone was dead.
And props to the Detroit crowd too, because they were on fire all night long.
Yeah, pretty much.
They were into pretty much the entire show, which was awesome. But I mean, okay, I think one of the most amazing things to me is when someone does something new with
a creative spot. Because I mean, let's face it. I mean, from the Cell's inception to about 2005, nothing groundbreaking happened inside the Cell. Aside from Foley.
Yeah.
Everything was really essentially the same thing that you would get in a cage match, just with a little more space between the cage. I mean, people getting smashed into the Cell, blood and weapons.
Yeah.
Nothing super original. And then when you started throwing in the newer talent,
who had either grown up watching the match and had thought of ideas, and then they're like, oh wait, well I can do this. What if we added this to it?
Yeah, and it's the necessity being the mother of invention.
Yes. Because
now that we have a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, we're guaranteed at minimum 2 of them a year.
Yeah, and so it has to evolve. It has to change.
You have to come up with something new. Else, no one's going to remember your Hell in a Cell match. If you don't do something special, your Hell in a Cell match is going to now fall by the wayside. You used to be able, like, for the first 10 years, you used to be able to count them on, like, one hand.
Yeah.
You know? Now that they've done it so frequently...
Yeah, I don't even know how many Hell in a Cell matches have actually happened
now. It can just be a thing.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, it's just a regular match to a certain degree. But props to the New Day creating a jail cell of kendo sticks for Jey Uso.
Yeah, that was fun.
Locking him into the corner. The Usos being able to use pretty much their entire arsenal using the hip attack in the corner on Xavier Woods. Big E actually running one of the Usos into the other one in the corner of the cell. We had the Usos use the Randy Orton, John Cena handcuff bit and then just go to fucking town on Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods and Big E had to absorb a lot of kendo stick shots.
Yeah. No, it was not an easy night for the New Day. Which, I mean, they were defending their title, so it wasn't going to be an easy night to begin with. But yeah, and Kofi on the outside doing his best to try and keep cheering on the New Day. Having to sit there and watch a lot of this stuff happen was probably a little rough for Kofi. But yeah, so, they brought in handcuffs because it's the Uso Penitentiary. They tried to get it on Big E. They couldn't get it on. So they went to Xavier Woods. They had him hanging up on the post on the outside and then just going to town on him. Ended up taking him off. Big E ended up getting back in and tried to do a few things, but ended up getting taken out with super kicks. It was just he was trying to just take them both on by himself, but it wasn't working. The double super kick ended up taking him down, and then Xavier Woods comes back in, still handcuffed, trying to run this match with his hands cuffed together, and he starts taking kendo stick shots, and he's not giving a fuck. Ends up like headbutting one of the Usos, and then they just start wailing on him again. Drops down Xavier Woods. The chair gets brought back in. Xavier Woods is dropped. The chair's put on his chest. Double Superfly Splash, and the Usos are now 5-time tag team champions.
And that was officially Hell in a Cell match number 37.
Damn.
Yeah.
In
20 years.
In 20 years. 37 matches in 20 years. That's more than one a year.
Yeah.
That's as much math as you're going to get out of me. But still.
That's just under 2 a year.
That's ridiculous. But still, fantastic job. This is the final encounter. We watched.
They said it in the video package.
Yeah, and we watched Talking Smack. The Usos are looking past the New Day. They're they know that there's other tag teams that are trying to climb the ladder, so they're just ready for whoever their next opponents are going to be. From there, we moved on to Randy Orton versus Rusev. Way more agility and back and forth stuff in this match than I even expected.
I was worried about this match coming right off the heels of the first Hell in a Cell because, and I mean, even if it were coming off the heels of not per se one of the Hell in a Cell matches, but maybe the triple threat match or Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler, knowing this had the possibility of being the slowest paced match of the night.
They are legitimately, I think, the two biggest guys on the card.
Maybe the biggest two in a match together. I mean, Corbin's outsizes both guys. In a match, this is the biggest combination of people on. And the roster. And although both guys are very athletically gifted, neither of them are known for going at a high pace, frenetic. Yeah. Orton is slow and methodical. Rusev is just kind of
He's a brute.
Dominating.
He's the Bulgarian brute.
Yeah.
Or the Bulgarian lion. Whatever he's calling himself now. But still, a fantastically athletic, quick-paced match. Some really great power game as well.
Orton having to try multiple times to hit that power slam.
Yeah, escaping the accolade.
the way that Rusev, like in the end of the match, the way that Rusev was about to put the accolade on.
Well, and Randy had gotten out of the accolade the same way he did this time towards the end. And so to see, I thought Randy was done. When he went down, he started pounding the mat, setting up for the RKO. And Rusev just reaches behind and like back rolls into the accolade. I was like, oh shit, it's done. That's it. And then Randy uses his snakiness, I guess, to slither out of another attempt. And then we had a little bit more back and forth, and then the RKO that Rusev sells the hell out of, and Randy Orton defeats Rusev once again.
No, happy Rusev Day coming up this Tuesday.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. Because I like Randy Orton, and I really like Rusev. What does Rusev do from here? He's now lost twice to Randy Orton.
On pay-per-view.
On pay-per-view. He's only beaten Randy Orton once on Smackdown.
After Orton had already wrestled Aiden English.
Yeah. And one of the pay-per-view matches was 3 seconds long. Kind of a rough path for Rusev, so hopefully they have something planned for him.
Yeah, hopefully.
Then we had the United States title match, which was turned into a triple threat just prior to the show, as Ty Dillinger gave Daniel Bryan enough evidence as to why he should be involved in the match, because he beat Baron Corbin on SmackDown.
And officially, because we have an unspoken rule
that
if someone is added to a match, we have the choice of changing our picks to the person who's added to the match.
Well, and that being said, I think we are in agreement that you're allowed to change your picks as long as the match hasn't happened.
Yeah. I changed my pick to Ty Dillinger once I knew he got added into the match.
And I stuck with AJ. It's hard to tell what direction they were going to go with here. But we had the two baby faces teaming up on the heel. Baron Corbin was obviously the issue that needed to be taken out immediately.
And not just to go on saying like the typical they're on the same side, but it even goes to strategize more that the two smaller guys immediately are attacking the bigger opponent as well.
Yeah. And it wasn't too long after Baron Corbin gets taken out the first time that Ty immediately tries to roll up AJ. And so it was still extremely competitive. Some great stuff from everybody in this match. This is a lot of chemistry for a three-way match. Yeah, a lot of really good, smooth transitions from partnerships to opponents to just kind of everything that you could hope for in a triple threat. You kind of got in one way or another. It was a really well paced. But still, Corbin constantly being a threat and both AJ and Ty having issues with him, as soon as he was in the ring and there was any type of advantage, they double teamed and got him the hell out of there. Or someone took the initiative to get him out of the ring. So at one point, he is indeed out of the ring. And so we have Ty and we have AJ kind of going back and forth. Ty running the gamut on AJ.
Real close a couple times.
It was within inches of being able to just either whether it was hitting the tiebreaker or pinfalls, whatever it was, had a bunch of moments, but AJ was able to stop the tiebreaker and then hit the phenomenal forearm. But as he hits the phenomenal forearm and tries to go for the pin, Baron Corbin immediately gets in, shoves him off of Ty, and then boots him the hell out of the ring.
Yeah.
And he goes over and he pins Ty Dillinger, and Baron Corbin is the new United States champion.
So I changed my pick. He didn't. We both lost still.
Yeah, still. I almost, when you said you were going to change to Ty, I almost changed to Baron Corbin, but I didn't. And I don't necessarily regret it because I wasn't sure what direction they were going to go. I'm glad. That's the best part of this match, is that we legitimately didn't know how it was going to go. It wasn't predictable. It was well done. Corbin cut a pretty good promo on Talking Smack afterwards, talking about how people can stop asking him where his briefcase is because he's got a championship now. They're not going to stop asking him where it is, but he does have a championship now. Then we go to our women's championship match, Natalya defending against Charlotte, and
this went a completely different route than I anticipated.
Me too.
Essentially, for about 85% of this match, was all Natalya beating the crap out of Charlotte's legs.
Yes, and every time Charlotte got just a slight advantage, even if she got like a couple of holds, and like she would stand up, and Natalya would pop right up and just like hit the knee again, and immediately be back in the offensive. She was a little fucking pit bull in this match. She would not stop going after that.
And like the only part of this match that didn't register in my head of like this is like because I had this thing that was like, oh, this match is so abnormal. This match is so abnormal. Is because I can't recall ever seeing Charlotte get dominated before.
No,
that never happens.
Charlotte is usually either evenly matched or is completely dominant.
Yeah.
There is no other way for Charlotte.
And so it's kind of interesting because I think they're using this match to introduce Charlotte's ability to be beaten.
That, and I think despite a lot of people wanting to see Natalya win the title, a lot of people weren't completely on board with it, and I think this was the best way to really prove that Natalya is a viable contender and a hell of a dominant champion.
Yeah. And then, like, a lot of what happened in the match seemed to me to be kind of backtracked by the end. Because we had Natalya being very dominant through most of the match. And then Charlotte finally hit, like, essentially the only huge offensive hope that she had. She did a moonsault off the top rope to the outside, landing on Natalya. But then Natalya responded by grabbing a chair and hitting Charlotte in the knees with the chair, getting herself, I guess, intentionally disqualified.
Yeah. Here's what I got from it is that despite how dominant Natalya was, Charlotte wasn't stopping. Yeah. She wasn't able to keep Charlotte down long enough to win the match. She couldn't make her tap out to the sharpshooter. Despite all the damage done to the knee, she was still able to hop up to the top rope multiple times and finally hit that moonsault. And then after hitting the moonsault, even landing on her feet, Charlotte was the one that was trying to pick up Natalya and toss her back in the ring. So Natalya kind of got to a point where she's like, I've done everything. There literally is nothing else I can do. I need to save my title somehow. And so she went with the only way that she possibly could, and she got herself disqualified. Now eventually, she won't be able to do that because we've seen people get themselves disqualified multiple times, and then eventually that leads to a no DQ match, and then you have to find another way to secure your title. So I think as this being her first dominant showing, and then to have someone like Charlotte just kind of shrug off almost everything she did, Natty needed to make that desperate heel move, and she got a lot of boos afterwards, which was great.
Yeah, it was kind of cool too because the crowd, like you were saying at the beginning, how the crowd was kind of hot throughout the whole show. The crowd was on the very rare occasion where the faces get cheered and the heels get booed. Like there was a good divide between heels and face reactions, where a lot of the times, it's just whoever's the most popular.
Yes. Great match for those ladies. We had a little bit of a break in the action as we had the return of the Fashion Files. Mm-hmm. This was Breezango finally feeling like they closed the 2B case.
Until they got a 2B.
A 2B. They just opened it up. And it was delivered by a couple of
absolutely ordinary, nondescript.
Not
outstanding at all delivery guys.
No,
which was weird that there were 2 couriers for 1 small poster.
Well, it must have been I don't know if it's in Detroit they take very good care of their packages. I don't know if it's like, hey, we need to make sure that this gets there undestroyed. I don't know. Whatever it is. I mean, we had like Colt Cabana with a Hulk Hogan mustache looking guy, and then kind of a beardy, long-haired dude in the back.
A guy who looks like Chris Maloney.
A little bit, yeah. It was a poster of the Ascension.
And it said, written with like
silver
Sharpie. So we want to be your friends.
And Breezango were like, well, I mean,
they're gross.
They're gross. They smell bad. They're not
greasy.
They're not great people. And then apparently we thought the couriers were taking offense to this, and then they took off their disguises, and it was in fact the Ascension.
Yeah. I just thought the couriers were making bold makeup choices.
Was it the stitched lips or the half?
It is one of them with a half red face.
That ended up being Victor.
Yeah. Or just Vic.
Vic.
Connor.
Yes. So the Ascension walk out of the office dejected and offended, and I don't think they want to associate themselves with Breezango anymore.
No, it did kind of make Breezango look like douchebags.
A little bit.
And then there was a knock on the door, and then Tyler goes to answer the door. He's like, "No, Ascension. We already told you." And it wasn't the Ascension, but somehow a suitcase knocked on the door.
A briefcase. A new case.
Yeah,
to which
full
they
of golden light.
Yes. So on Smackdown, we will get Pulp Fashion. When they lifted it up, I knew it was going to be a Pulp Fiction thing, but I wasn't sure what direction they were going to go, and Pulp Fashion did not pop in my head, and I kind of love it.
Dear God, can we have Fandango as John Travolta? And here's what's going to happen is John Travolta Fandango is going to walk in, and everybody's immediately going to assume that means Tyler Breeze is going to be Samuel Jackson.
He's going to be Uma Thurman. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, please, can we get Ron Simmons come in?
Yes.
With
Booker T.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
yeah.
It'll probably be Ron with a
Or
damn.
Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin as...
Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable could come in as John Travolta
Yes,
and
they could.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, they could. But yeah, so Fashion Files officially back. We'll see them on Tuesday for SmackDown Live. But then we go to our WWE Championship match. Jinder Mahal defending against Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, Jinder gets better.
Yeah,
his in-ring work is getting better. His transitions into his finishers are getting a lot cleaner.
This was a much better outing than SummerSlam was.
Yeah,
and some of his SmackDown matches.
Mm-hmm.
The problem I have with this, I'm can't believe I say that I like Jinder, but the championship storyline has made me like Jinder Mahal, and I do really like Shinsuke. But since his debut on SmackDown, Shinsuke just doesn't feel important.
Yeah, that's the issue with people being built up on NXT to such a high regard, is when they pop up onto the main roster, it's like, it helps that NXT is only an hour long, because you don't get to have everyone on every show. Whereas, when you go into SmackDown for 2 hours or Raw for 3 hours every week, all the big guys all have TV time every week. You have Finn and Bray and Orton and Rusev and Cena and Styles and the Shield guys and the Bar and the Miz and Shinsuke and Ziggler every week have their own time. So none of the big names that they're trying to push, with the exception of Lesnar, but that's only because his contract is by number of appearances.
Yeah.
You don't get, no one is gone, or there's no mystique because everyone's being shown too much. It's overexposure. Where some guys need to be dialed back because that's kind of what makes them special, is if it's a special occasion when they show up, or, you don't lose to Jinder Mahal a bunch of times. But but you beat John Cena and you beat Randy Orton, but you lose to Jinder Mahal
I think
over and over again.
You know, that was one thing. I think my biggest issue is I don't feel like there's any continuity from their SummerSlam match to this match.
No.
Because the only thing that could be considered continuity is that the Singh brothers got sent to the back.
Mm-hmm.
But that still wasn't enough of a factor into the situation. Plus, there was no build other than Jinder coming out and making fun of Shinsuke for horrible segments 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that was the biggest detriment to this whole storyline is that, like, the lead up to their first match was good.
Yeah.
The lead up to this match was so lackluster that I didn't pay attention to a lot of it.
Yeah, and it was literally just Jinder showing pictures of Shinsuke and saying that when I beat him, this is how he's gonna look, and it was.
And in this picture, he looks constipated.
It didn't make any sense. It didn't help build up the match. The match was good. I had no issues with the match whatsoever, but I just didn't care as much as I should have for
the championship match.
I mean, despite even if it was in Hell in a Cell, I probably wouldn't have cared because the build didn't warrant me to care.
Yeah, that's saying something because like knowing like you begrudgingly even liking Jinder Mahal and liking Shinsuke should have a reason to care about this match. But then like thinking of like watching when we watched the Fatal 4-Way Universal title match or Braun versus Brock at the last pay-per-views and seeing you have more vested interest even though I know you didn't like the champion, the builds to those matches made you want to watch the matches.
I do not like Brock Lesnar and I very rarely am excited for his matches. But the last two matches for Brock Lesnar have been built very well and have given me a reason.
Even the last three, because the Samoa Joe one had great build too.
Absolutely. So yeah, that being said, they had a great match. Singh brothers end up getting sent to the back, and then it's kind of a back and forth of who can hit who with their finisher first. Shinsuke ends up trying to go for the Kinshasa, gets kind of like sideswiped and shoved into the turnbuckle, so he's holding his knee, he backs up right into the Colossus, and Jinder Mahal is still the WWE Champion, which blows my fucking mind. But it happened.
Yeah. And the cooldown match.
Which, boy, was it a cooldown match.
Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. The highlight of this match for me was Dolph's entrance. Because it was different.
Yeah, Bobby Roode came out first, did his whole entrance, and kind of got stuck in his robe.
In white, so all the light bouncing off of it made him look fluorescent.
He was shiny AF. And then Dolph's music started. The same old music that we've been hearing for the last 4 years. And then it all stopped, and Dolph walked to the ring in darkness and silence, which was interesting. Had this been a thing 2 weeks ago, I think this could have maybe even built up Dolph's whole, I don't need an entrance type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I liked this part in particular, and this got me kind of into the idea of Dolph's going to come out now and blow everybody out of the water because the whole shtick is, I don't need a flashy entrance, I'm going to come in and wow everybody in the ring. And then he came in, and we had essentially...
I don't remember.
Not a bad match, but...
I don't remember anything.
The least memorable match of the night. Which is sad.
The only things that I remember from the match was Bobby Roode's spinebuster, the attempt at the glorious DDT into the big DDT, the roll-ups that ended the match.
And the thing that stuck with me most is that Dolph Ziggler immediately got up and hit Bobby Roode with the zigzag after the match was over.
Yeah.
So despite the fact that Bobby Roode won, Dolph Ziggler does leave with, I guess, the moral victory.
Yeah, if they're... Well, it's an immoral victory, technically.
Yeah. For him, it's the moral victory.
Yeah. He's the one that gets to walk away from the ring proud while Bobby Roode is selling his neck. But, yeah,
They didn't have the best chemistry that I was hoping for, either.
Well, to me, it feels like the same thing that we got with Dolph and Shinsuke. Like, Shinsuke's first thing was Dolph Ziggler talking about how great he was and how very lackluster Shinsuke is, and then we still got this same Dolph Ziggler not being Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't have the drive that he used to.
I don't know. He signed a new contract, so he must have some sort of drive to do it. Unless he's just doing it for the money, and that's...
Or heel work, like Dolph Ziggler being a heel just
doesn't care anymore?
Yeah, or, just take, it's what I was saying, a couple episodes ago, or something talking about how the heels can't have flashy moves anymore.
We were actually talking about it at the bar the other night.
Yeah, that's
too.
what it was. And so, Dolph, essentially maybe it was kind of boring because Dolph was going out of his way to make sure he didn't pop the crowd.
Yeah.
Which is a downfall because...
When your storyline is, I'm going to wow everyone because I'm so good, you need to pop us somehow.
Yeah.
And a zigzag after the match is not enough.
Yeah. So enough on that.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm up by 1.
We're not doing well.
No.
Score-wise.
No. Let's see. At this point, I've got 2, 3.
And I've got 2.
Nope. Wait. Yeah. You
I've got 2. He's got 3.
I'm up by 1.
7. Not a great. We haven't been doing the best recently. Let's be real.
No, we haven't. So we go into our last disagreement, and that being
the main event.
Main event: Hell in a Cell, Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon.
So if Shane wins, I tie it. If Kevin wins, he sweeps.
Yeah. So I think they fucking delivered on every bit of intensity that they've built up.
Yeah,
for these
it
last
was
couple
pretty
weeks.
intense. They fought outside, they fought inside, they fought on the cell.
I think the only thing that didn't make sense to me was there was a sequence where Corey made a very big statement as to this is Falls Count Anywhere, this is Hell in a Cell. So it was Shane ended up getting his foot on the rope, or Kevin Owens got his foot on the rope, or whatever it was, broke up a pin. And I thought that was fine because for me, in a hardcore match, regardless of what it is, the ropes still negate things, but a person doesn't have to relinquish a hold or something due to the rope break.
I think, to a degree, I think the only time where you can negate the rope breaking up a pin is specifically Falls Count Anywhere. Because there shouldn't be any location.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because essentially, when you're under the rope or over the rope, you're out of the ring.
Yeah.
So okay,
and being Falls Count Anywhere, there shouldn't be any boundaries where the pin could be negated.
Yeah. So we go immediately from that to Shane going, okay, I want out of the cell, and the ref's going, no, I can't do that. Why can't you do that when it is a Falls Count Anywhere match?
Yeah, that was the biggest detriment to me, was having Shane actually, going into the cell after they fought on the outside for the first time, watching the referee, Shane actually sat there and watched the referee lock the chain and lock around the door. And then later, when he goes and asks at the door, okay, I understand Kyoto saying that he can't do anything. He's in the ring. He wasn't the one that locked it. The other ref probably has the key.
Exactly.
One on the outside.
And
but then the ref on the outside's like, nope, I can't let you out either.
Yeah, and so...
wait, motherfucker, you have the key.
So there were stashed bolt cutters under the ring, so Shane could cut his way out of the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that was the only momentum killer in the match
Yes.
because it took Shane about 4 tries.
Well, Shane had already done a shooting star press and a coast to coast.
Probably gave himself a concussion.
He had been powerbombed onto stairs. He had done a lot of shit prior to trying to get out of the cell.
Yeah.
So, that being said, other than that part, these two tore each other apart.
And, I mean, I don't know where we're going to post them, but I got some video reaction to some of the stuff. When they went up to the top.
No, don't. God damn it. You can fight up there all you want, just don't go off the fucking side. Stay in the middle, stay in the middle. Oh! I'm right there with you, Corey.
Smacked his head again.
Did they hit one of the support teams?
No, I just think Shane smacked his head again.
And had so many moments where they could have gone through the top of the cage.
We might...
Kevin Owens going for a power bomb.
But yeah, like the Russian leg sweep and then the suplex from Shane to Owens.
Power bomb.
The pop-up power bomb.
All of it.
Oh! Oh boy.
Shane.
It was...
Owens literally just trying to hurl Shane off the top of the cell.
Yeah. The fact, like, when Shane started running, and I was like... Well, you're seeing it now. I'm freaking out because despite, I'm sure, it would be exciting to watch, I don't want either of these people to die.
No.
Maybe I'm just a softie. I don't know. But I don't want people to die. Mick Foley could have died.
Yeah.
I don't want either Shane McMahon or Kevin Owens to die. Maybe for the benefit of their families, or maybe the benefit of the fact that I like both of these guys. But
eventually, after all the teases,
yeah, they did
which got him so many times.
They did a really good job of keeping me freaked the fuck out.
Owens finally, cooler heads prevail and starts climbing down the cage.
And I start thanking him.
Shane shimmies down the cage next to him and ends up knocking him off the cage through the already exposed announce table. He goes like, "Oh, I'm gonna pin him," and then like as he gets down on his knees and rolls Kevin over.
We had the similar moment because Kevin was gonna go for the frog splash through the table, and then looked up, and went, "No, I want to do it from up there." And so then we had Shane do the same thing. Where he's like, "I'm gonna pin him
from up there.
I want to wait. I can jump again." And so yeah, we get the whole very much a replay of WrestleMania 32, tearing the table apart, setting up Kevin Owens, and then ascending the cell once again. He doesn't have nearly as much of the nervousness that Kevin Owens did, where he kept like thinking he was going to do it and like stopping himself. Shane just kind of gets up there, poises himself,
breathes first,
breathes a couple times, and then just drops. Unfortunately,
a 20-foot drop, man.
Yeah,
but I mean, like at this point though, the 20-foot drop, as far as Shane McMahon stunts, is like the smallest drop he's done.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think it will never top SummerSlam.
Steve Blackman.
Yeah, the Steve Blackman, and even
the Big Show.
Yeah, the elbow drop
bigger.
onto Big Show. Like yeah, neither of those will be topped.
Yeah,
those are forever etched in my brain because holy shit. So, but it's still amazing to watch someone just be like, Yeah, I'm just gonna jump 20 feet and elbow drop this guy through a fucking table. It's still ridiculous. Unfortunately,
Owens wasn't there.
No, and not because he moved on his own, but because Sami Zayn pulled him off of the table.
Yeah, Sami Zayn cloaked in a hoodie and dark pants.
It was a brilliant moment.
Popped out of nowhere. He was kind of like hidden in with the crew guys.
It was...
He probably ran down with the EMTs.
Probably. Whether, you know, he's been trying to warn Shane, and even trying to warn Kevin, like, hey, you're not in your right mind. You need to chill out. Or Shane, don't get involved so much. You know, you're gonna end up getting hurt, regardless of what it is. Sammy's been trying to stop this for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah. And the part that I found interesting, which plays into this whole thing, is that even after moving Kevin Owens off the table, he actually dragged Kevin Owens over to Shane's limp body and put him over the top and threw the referee to the ground so the referee would count the pin.
Yeah. So Kevin Owens gets the win with the assist from Sami Zayn, with whom he's been feuding with since the end of 2014. That is...
What it was is, you know, whether or not we swerve it towards a Sami heel turn, which we're not expecting, or we get this whole, like, okay, Sammy's doing it to help Shane, and like, if Kevin doesn't win, he's probably gonna try and murder you.
Yeah, and that's a brilliant idea that you brought up. It makes a lot of sense that Sammy's like, this is the only thing I can think of to do.
Yeah.
Is to make sure that Kevin is, you know, somewhat justified, somewhat calmed down in this whole situation where he's like, okay, cool, I won. I don't have to be an asshole anymore.
Yeah. No matter which way they take it, I can guarantee you that I don't think anybody expected Sami Zayn to come out and help Kevin Owens win.
No. And I don't think Sami Zayn realized he was going to do it, because even after the pin, he just kind of like walks away, he stared down Shane's son.
He did a lot of like surprised faces.
And then Kevin Owens was like kind of like crawling out of the rubble and was just kind of like looking at Sami like, what the fuck just happened? Like, this is a very confusing situation, which makes me really excited to see what they do on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, in that regard,
kudos for a good ending.
Yeah, a great ending, a great beginning, lots of great matches in between. 10 out of 10 would Hell in a Cell again.
I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, I'll give it a 9. I'm gonna knock a point off for Dolph's.
Yeah, Rude Ziggler didn't do anything for me, and the half point docked for starting with the first Hell in a Cell match for me.
Yeah, there you go. But with that being said, that is our review of Hell in a Cell 2017. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Click the links.
There are so many links.
Check out the podcast.
That's the SoundCloud link.
And Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
It's reasonable to W.
Like wrestling. Where you can check out our newest unboxing video from a couple weeks ago. You can check out our newest one that's going to be coming up in just a couple of weeks. But stay over here on this channel because we do have a top 5 that's going to be posted later this week. It's going to be Kevin Hawk. I almost called you Kevin Owens.
That'd be a compliment, actually, I think.
Kevin Hawk talking about the most impressive of Ogtember, or was that
Ogtember.
Yeah, the most impressive people of the end of the summer. And we'll have all of our other regular reviews this week with, of course, the midweek wrap-up, Night 3 of Ultimate Lucha Trace. Look forward to that, but for now, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Fuck Mojo Raleigh.
Yeah.